Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl, the Brooke Ashley, and today we are here to discuss The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 13, Episode 6. This episode was a little more entertaining to me than last week's. I'm really looking forward to it finally picking up because we already know that next week's episode and the following weeks is going to be all when they're in Charleston, South Carolina for Cynthia's bachelorette party, the girls' weekend, okay? And we all are dying to see who got with who. Now, before we get into this recap, may I just say for the record, y'all tried to say that I was completely wrong for thinking that Kenya and Latoya had something going on. Well, Drew Sidora filled in for Porsha a few nights ago on that show that they do after Watch What Happens Live. You guys know, the Bravo chat room. Well, Drew alluded that it was actually Latoya and Kenya who hooked up with each other at the bachelorette party. Now, if it turns out that I was right all along, you guys already know I'm going to come on here and gloat and gloat and gloat and let y'all know that the doll is always right. So we start off the episode with a really cute scene with Drew Sidora and her husband Ralph. They are teaching their son how to ride a bike without training wheels. And it was so cute because Ralph was getting him already and then he let go and the boy was just doing such a good job and Drew's getting all teary-eyed and they're all cheering him on. That was a cute scene to me, especially since we have only been seeing Drew and Ralph's marital issues and how poorly he speaks to her and how he gaslights her. It was actually nice to see them enjoying each other and cheering on their kids. So I said, good. A scene with no yelling, no cursing, no drama, no gaslighting, no manipulation. Thank you, Jesus. Hallelujah. I hope it lasts, okay? So then we move on to the next scene with Cynthia. She is at home and she is with Mike. Mike and her are sitting on the couch talking about the guest list. I'm going to let you all know right now that I have been thoroughly annoyed with Cynthia. I'm just finding Cynthia to be very aggravating, very immature, very inconsiderate, and I'm also finding her to be very thirsty and desperate to have a storyline for this show. She gets on the topic of wanting to invite her father. This really angered me to no end. Cynthia has made mention before that her father was like a deadbeat and he was very mean and nasty and abusive to their mom. And now for you to want to invite him, and then when she said that their relationship is strained because of how their mom did that PSA that Kenya was doing 3 years ago. You guys remember that PSA from a few seasons ago? Nene had done it, Shamia had done it, and Cynthia's mom had done it, and Cynthia's mom discussed how she was abused and how he was mean to her. And so Cynthia's father is mad that the mom put his business out on Front Street. If you abuse a woman, if you do wrong by a woman, you don't really deserve grace, in my opinion, for that. I'm sorry. I don't have sympathy for men who abuse women. I don't. I personally feel like Cynthia's loyalty needs to be to her mom, not her no good, sorry father. Like, I was just so annoyed. And then when Mike was like, well, you know, you care too much about what people think. You know, if you want to invite him, go ahead. I was confused at both of their thought processes with that whole discussion. Like, I was just really annoyed. Whatever. I'm done. I don't want to hear about this wedding storyline any longer. I'm this close to like skipping all of Cynthia's scenes going forward because I'm tired of her. I really am. I've always been pretty indifferent about Cynthia, to be honest with you. Like, I could take her or leave her. But when I tell you, her storyline has really come to the end of the road for me and everybody else. Like, everybody is like, girl, you have no storyline. This needs to be your last season. Last season honestly needed to be your last season. But you know what? I'm spending too much time on Cynthia and this stupid wedding and her stupid logic. Let's just move on to the next scene, please. Next, we see Drew and Ralph. They are packing their house up because y'all know that they are moving into a gorgeous home. And so they were doing this cute little like packing competition. Drew says that she's happy to see Ralph laughing and cracking a smile because he's been really sad lately since his father passed away. So while they're laughing and packing up the house or trying to pack up the house, they go outside to release some balloons in honor of Ralph's dad passing away. Drew says in her confessional that marriage is hard work. And because it's hard, she really appreciates when they are laughing and smiling. And I'm so tired of hearing that marriage is just so hard. I really am. I'm like, look, I know it's not the easiest thing in the world to live with somebody else, but it can't be that freaking hard. If you've been married for a long time, drop down in the comments and let me know, is it really just that hard? I feel like it's only hard when you marry somebody that you're not compatible with. They release the balloons, and then one of the balloons is actually like not going all the way up. It's like stuck on the roof, and they're like, oh my gosh, that's your dad. He's like looking down on us. And that was a cute moment. Drew says that she just wants there to be a clean slate between her and Ralph. When I see Drew interacts with Ralph, I just get that impression that she is always walking on eggshells with that man. She always seems like she's just trying to overcompensate and trying to be overly nice so that he doesn't get offended or fly off the handle. That's a terrible way to live. And I think it's terrible when you are dealing with a man who is hot and cold. No woman should have to deal with that. Okay? I just feel like a hot and cold man is a man that I don't need to be around. Okay? Much less be with. Because I'm not about to sit up here and walk on eggshells and wonder if you woke up on the right or the wrong side of the bed each morning. I'm not doing that. Your attitude needs to be correct. You need to be on an even keel most days out of the week. Everybody has a bad day. I understand that. I can get with that. But when your bad days are like pretty much every day and you got me sitting up there worrying, oh my God, is he going to be upset or mad about something? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I'm going to keep Drew lifted in prayer because Ralph is just like a ticking time bomb. I was happy that they had a little cute moment, but I just said it's sad when me as a viewer is looking like, okay, so next episode, he's probably going to flip out. But again, that's just my 2 cents. Let's mosey on over to the next scene. So we see in the next scene, Kandi, she is getting ready to promote her Kandi Cares Foundation on IGTV. And she is letting us know that she founded Kandi Cares in 2014. She wants to give back to the community. And with this event, she is going to be giving groceries to 750 families. I said, that is amazing. I was just really touched to see that because I said, in this pandemic where so many people are hurting, it was just really nice that she's trying to give back and to give back in a major way. And so she's letting us know that she's excited and the other ladies are going to be helping her distribute the groceries to the families. So then she gets on the topic of her baby daddy, aka Riley's no good father, and she's talking about how she wants to take him to court for back child support. She lets us know that Riley's father was making millions of dollars at one point in time, and she feels like, hey, like, I want my money. I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. My eyes were glazed over when she started talking about the whole baby daddy, back child support. I don't care. Men should take care of their kids. They should be put on child support. They should want to make sure their kids are living well, regardless of if the baby mother has a whole bunch of money or not. You should want to take care of your kids. But since Kandi has waited so long, I just don't think that the judge is going to rule in her favor. To be honest with you, I feel like it's been years and years and years of Kandi letting him slide. So it's like, I don't know, girl. Honestly, I wasn't interested in that part of the scene, so we can move right on along. So the next scene, we see Porsha and Cynthia. They are out to have some drinks and a cute bite to eat. So Porsha starts off the conversation talking about how she's putting little PJ into daycare. And then she also brings up Cynthia's surprise engagement party and how she thought that the party was really, really nice, how she had a great time. So then Cynthia's like, oh, girl, thank you so much. And she brings up Porsha and Porsha's rocky relationship with Dennis. So Porsha's kind of like, oh, girl, you going to ask me this really? And it was so funny because the waitress kept popping up every time Cynthia was trying to get the tea about what was really happening with, her and Dennis. So then Porsha says that the affair affected her because it made her feel insecure, how she's become more snippy with Dennis. So she says that they got into a big blow up one time because I guess he took too long making the bottle for PJ. And so she was like, okay, it's taking too long. He's been down there too long. And so she said when he came back up, she was just screaming and hollering at him so bad. And the little baby was just watching like, Mom, what's going on? And so she was just saying that she feels like she's been punishing him because he had the affair. And that's understandable. Listen, Porsha's another one who I'm aggravated with her storyline as well. I don't really care. And when it comes to this off and on relationship that she has with Dennis, I'm just kind of like, girl, I don't really know what to say. I mean, people tried to warn you last season when y'all got together, or no, not last season, 2 seasons ago, season 11. Kandi tried to warn you that Dennis was a womanizer and was dating all of Atlanta. And you didn't want to hear it. Sis, you did not know this man. You did not properly vet this man. Yes, you found a winner with him being rich and a provider, but you did not vet him. You did not vet his character. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like you already knew that there were rumblings about him being a cheater and a womanizer, and you kind of just purposely turned a blind eye. Like, well, you know what? We're together. It's whatever. He's fine. I'm good. He loves me. And I don't care how good you think your WAP is. You're not changing a man. If he is a cheater, if he's a womanizer, he's not changing. I just kind of be rolling my eyes when I hear Porsha talk about their off and on again relationship. It's like, girl, the writing was on the wall. Kandi tried to warn you, honey. Everybody tried to warn you, and you didn't listen. But oh well. And Cynthia is like, well, girl, Mike really loves Dennis and he wants Dennis to come to the wedding. Porsha's like, look, I don't want him to come to the wedding. Please tell Mike, like, no. And so Porsha starts joking like, girl, put it on him real good and let Mike know that Dennis is not invited. Cynthia was not that convincing when she was like, girl, I'm gonna try to let Mike know that Dennis isn't invited. It was like, girl, and wasn't Dennis there? So I said, okay, it didn't work. So whatever, child. Let's move on to the next scene. So it's the big day of Kandi's Kandi Cares event, and she's getting all the groceries ready to give away to the 750 families. I said, just what a wonderful thing to do for so many families. I'm sure that really just helped so many people out. So that really put a smile on my face to see her do a really nice thing. All the ladies show up. Everybody's trickling in one by one. Tanya gets there first, and Porsha gets there first. Kandi's joking about how Porsha was actually there on time. Kenya shows up, and Kenya's kind of throwing shade about how Porsha's only on time because it's a photo op. And I was like, Kenya, I'm no Porsha fan, and I'm no fan of yours either, but Give the girl a break for just like 2 seconds, please, okay? We're getting all of the bags filled with the groceries, and then we see all the cars are coming up, and all the ladies are putting the bags of groceries in the trunk. Now, while they were doing all this, they were still kind of having side conversations amongst each other, and Kenya cannot help herself. She loves to boss people around because when they were talking, Kenya was like, "Can we please work? Can we just focus on doing this, please?" And it's like, Kenya just does the most, and it's like, Kenya finds a way to inject misery in any situation. I'm like, girl, this is a charity event. You're doing a good deed for people. Can you just tone it down like 3 notches, please? Like, it was annoying. She was getting annoyed because Porsha was talking about Dennis being invited to the wedding and she doesn't want him to attend. And so Kenya was kind of like, girl, this really isn't an issue. Like, enough, please. Like, you're just afraid that he's going to come there and you're going to have a weak moment, be filled up with Henny, and you're going to bust it open. And so Porsha was like, girl, can you just go away? Like, just stop being aggravating. And I was on Porsha's side with that. Like, Kenya cannot help herself. Like, girl, move, please. Oh, Kenya's attitude is so bad. The event is going really, really well. All the ladies are in their rhythm. They are giving the groceries out to every single car that drives by. Cynthia gets there, and then Marlo gets there as well. And then Kandi's like, okay, ladies, let's all take a break. So they all go and take a break. They are sitting under a gazebo, and Kandi brings out their lunch. She's like, ladies, I'm sorry. This is a little bit unhealthy. And I said, now, Kandi, you know these ladies have been trying to cut down. They've all been complaining about gaining quarantine weight. Why would you give them greasy old wings and French fries for lunch when you know they're trying to cut down? You know Cynthia's trying to get snatched for her wedding. I said, so they're sitting down to eat, just talking and joking around, and Marlo is like, Kandi, I said I was going to donate $5,000. Well, here it is. She hands Kandi a check, and so Kandi was like, oh my gosh, like, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And then Kandi is like, I'm just so happy that Marlo donated. That was really nice, but it's just really sad because in this group of women, I just assumed that some of the other ladies would be generous, and they were not. And the camera kept panning to Kenya. And if you kind of noticed, Kenya kept making snide remarks about Marlo handing her a $5,000 check. And I was like, Kenya, are you mad? And it's funny because Kenya has always given me cheap when it comes to doing things for other people. And I also feel like Cynthia was one of the ones who was cheap too and didn't give that much. Rich people who spend top dollar on themselves but then have a problem giving to charity or paying a bill when they're out to eat or trying to get free services from makeup artists and hairstylists, that really drives me crazy. The same way you wouldn't try to cheat American Express, Neiman Marcus, or Saks, then why are you trying to be so cheap with other people? That really drives me nuts. I said I really wish that Kandi would have just said who the cheap ladies were, but I think that Kenya was one of the cheapskates, and I also think that Cynthia is one of the cheapskates because Cynthia has been known to be a very frugal individual, she's tight with the dollar. She got alligator arms. I said, I hate rich, cheap people, but I digress. Let's just move right on along. So then Drew Sidora FaceTimes Cynthia, and so we find out that obviously Drew couldn't come because she's moving. And then Drew is like, I wish I was there. And so Kandi also thanks Drew for her donation because Drew wrote a nice check for Kandi Cares. And so Drew's like, yeah, like, I know what it's like. Like, of course. I know what it's like because I was a single mother, so I completely understand it. And it's always good to see people giving back. So then Kenya changes the conversation and brings up the idea of them taking a girls' trip. She's like, we are all overdue for a vacation and we need to get away, but we need to be safe about it due to COVID. So then they're all name dropping a whole bunch of ideas. They all want to be by the water. They want a beach setting. So like, okay, should we do somewhere in Florida? Should we do here? And then they all decide to do Charleston, South Carolina, because Charleston's really nice and they have really nice beaches as well. So then Kenya is talking about transportation, how they're going to get there, because some people are kind of iffy about flying. And they're like, well, we could take Fallon's private jet. And you guys remember Fallon. She's the friend of the show. She's married to that older guy who's like super rich. They have that gorgeous house. Yeah, Fallon has a private plane. It's like, oh, we could do that. And I'm like, yeah. So they all come to a consensus that it is going to be Charleston, South Carolina for their girls' trip. And they're just like, Kenya, let us know the dates that you're thinking about, but I'm down. So then Kandi's like, okay, girls, break is over. It's time to get back to work and hand out these groceries. And then we see that is the end of the scene. And we go on to the last scene of the night. And when I tell you, this just got on my last good nerve. We see Cynthia. She is with Noelle. Noelle is back from LA. She's just doing a little visit. And we find out that Cynthia and Noelle are headed over to Cynthia's mom's house. I've always loved Cynthia's mother. She seems like such a sweet woman. And she's just so adorable. So they finally get to the mom's house. And it was so cute because the mom had cooked all this food. She cooked some sweet potatoes and cornbread, and she had cooked pork chops. And so Cynthia was like, Ma, you cook pork chops? Like, where are they? And then we see that Cynthia's sister Mallory is there, and she got there hours ago. So she was chopping down them pork chops. And so she's like, Mal, you ate all the pork chops? So they're laughing about that. And so Cynthia's making herself a plate. They all go and sit down in the living room, and they start to chat. So Cynthia drops the bomb that she has been thinking about inviting their father. And when I tell you, I lived for Cynthia's mother's reaction. She was shaking her head like, no, ma'am, no, ma'am. She was like, well, Cynthia, I guess I'll have to put a mask over my eyes. And I said, girl, I completely understand, because I would not want to see that idiot either. So then Cynthia's mom, and she's just as calm as can be, and she is like, look, I have something to get off of my chest because I'm upset with you because you posted that really loving and sweet Instagram post on Father's Day, and that really pissed me off, saying that he was a loving father and you had such wonderful childhood memories. And she was kind of like, girl, what memories? She was like, your dad left when you were 3 or 4, so what childhood memories do you have? And so the mom is like, I really did not appreciate that. I was your mother and your father. I took care of you. I've always been the shoulder that you've been leaning on all these years. Like, how dare you? I would have been insulted too, because it's like, this man left, was abusive, and you have your nerve to sit up here and say that he was a loving father and he made your childhood special. We would have an issue. We would have an issue. So then Cynthia's mom also lets it be known that she's upset about the PSA. She feels like she was misled about that PSA from a few years ago. She's like, well, you didn't tell me it was going to be all that. I had to relive all those hurt memories again. And she's just really getting angry. So then Cynthia's like, Mom, I'm really sorry. I'm just really, really sorry about the whole thing. Like, please forgive me. And then Cynthia's mom also brings up how her folks in Alabama were calling her up when the PSA hit, and they were just kind of like, you speaking bad on Mr. Bailey, like he's a church-going man, like that's just really not right. So she was just pissed. It is so crazy to me how people will take a man's side, even though he was a deadbeat, laid hands on women, wasn't there for his children, not wanting to pay child support, and people seem just to forget that, and they'll seem to defend the man. It is so crazy how in our society, men are just defended. It's sick. It's a sickness. I don't know if Cynthia was trying to be willfully obtuse or if she was trying to put on for the cameras to have a moment. But I think that she was just really out of line and she was dead wrong in that scene with her mom. Because it's like, you're playing in your mom's face, to be honest with you. I was really happy when Noelle jumped in the conversation and gave her 2 cents. She was the only one in that room besides the grandmother who has some sense. And so she was like, Mom, you obviously see that grandma is hurt by this because she said she wants to put the mask over her eyes if he's going to attend. And then when she said, Grandma has been so selfless, like she's always putting us ahead of herself. Like she just loves us so much. She's always there for us. So it's like, can't you just do something for her for once? Like you need to step up to the plate and put her first, the same way she's put you and all of us first. And I was like, bravo, Noelle, for having some sense. So then we see Cynthia in the confessional. She's getting emotional about how she has always felt guilty for her mom having her, because she says that, her mom had dreams. Her mom was a beautiful woman. She says that her mom had big dreams and her mom could have been a model too when she was younger. And she just has always felt this guilt that her being pregnant with Cynthia kind of derailed her life. And it's like, Cynthia, now you can't blame yourself for being born. You had no choice in the matter. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, girl, you shouldn't feel guilty for that. But you should feel guilty for causing your mother pain and emotional hurt by bringing this idiot around who hasn't even been in your life. But I digress. Like I said, Cynthia really got on my last nerve this episode. She really did. A solid episode. Next week's episode, we about to see everything go down, because they are going to be away in Charleston and they're going to be having a good old time, honey, at that bachelorette party. We see the strippers. We see them all in their lingerie. We see it all. So I said, okay, hopefully the girls give us something. Okay. But that was the episode, guys. You already know what to do. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you all later. Bye.